In this lesson, we're going to demonstrate how to use a tablet to connect to your router. The tablet is an Android tablet that we're using, and this lesson is a standalone lesson just on how to use that tablet. This does not show you how to secure your router. It only shows you how to use a tablet. So make sure you understand you have to do the other lessons to learn how to secure your router. This lesson simply allows you to substitute a tablet instead of other computers while you're configuring your router. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Play Store and we're going to download two apps. We're going to download ConnectBot, and it looks like that. We're also going to download Old School Editor. And once those are both downloaded and installed, we'll go on to the next step. Okay, next we're going to access the router using our Chrome browser. And I've been there before, therefore the browser remembers my username and it just wants my password. Notice I'm using HTTPS up here. If you're out of the box router, if that's what you're using out of the box, then it's good. You're going to have to use HTTP. Actually, all you need to do is type in 192.168.88.1 and it'll do the rest for you. So I've been there before, so mine's secure right now. So I'm going to put in the password. And now we're logged into the router. We have to do two things while we're here. The first thing we have to do is go to IP and services. I want to make sure that this SSH is enabled, as I just disabled it and I'm going to re-enable it so you can see it on the screen. It has a green circle in front of it when it's enabled. That's going to allow us to have SSH access. And that's the one thing you have to change on this screen. Everything else, just leave it like it is. Next thing we have to do is we have to add a user for this video. And to do that, we turn off IP, we come down, turn on system, go down to the bottom where there's users down here. Scroll back up so you can see it. We're going to add a new user. Right now I've got 3 users. We're going to add a new one. Username is going to be tablet. So the username is tablet, all lowercase. We're going to have full access to everything on the router. And we need a password. So we'll give it a password. This is just a test, so I'll do PASS. PASS. We make a comment, Android. Access. Now I gotta come back up here and say apply. We'll say OK. So now I have a new user, tablet. It's got full access. And that completes our activities of the first time we access the router using the browser. Next, we're going to use the ConnectBot to establish an SSH host for the router. Notice there's currently no host, so we're going to click the plus down here. We're going to add a host. The username is going to be what we created as tablet. @ and the address 192.168.88.1. And we scroll down here where it says use public key authentication. We're going to say don't use any keys. Make sure this thing is set to off. Now I'm going to go back to our host. In other words, we're going to add this host. Well, I should say we're going to add this host. Now we have a host connected. We're going to tap on the host name to see if we can log in with the router. And it talks about this fingerprint. We're going to say yes, we accept the router fingerprint. It wants my password for the router, which we said it was a simple PASS. And we're done. And bingo, we're logged into the router. So we've proved we can access the router using SSH without any keys. Now we go to disconnect from the router. Up here, top right, we'll say disconnect, and we'll close out the ConnectBot. Now we're going to go back to our ConnectBot, and you notice we have the user. We need to assign a key for that user. So let's make a key first of all. So we click up here at the top right to create a new public key. We're going to give it the name Lynn. You can use any name you want. I'm using the name that's familiar with my system. Add the 55 to make it different. So it's an RSA key. We'll change this to, we'll just leave that alone. We'll leave it at 2048 because this is just a test setup. Password down here. The password, if you put a password on, nobody can access your file unless they have the password. So we'll make the password pass. Confirm it. So now we're going to generate this key. And once you move your finger around while it generates the key, you notice it's doing percentages here while my finger's moving. And pretty soon it'll be finished. Now it's finished and it created this key, Lin9155. So the next step, we have to make this key available to the router, the public part of it. Remember, this is a key pair. So we got to hold, press and hold, and we're going to copy the public key. We just copied it into the clipboard for future use. So now we're finished using this ConnectBot. So we'll bail on the ConnectBot. Our next step is to get the public key loaded onto the router. And to do that, we have to use this old school editor. So we start up the old school editor, and there's a couple things we need to do. We need to make sure that the word wrap is enabled. So apparently it comes up that way by default. And the other thing we have to do is go down here to settings, way down here towards the bottom, up here, append text automatically. We will make that false. So we don't want to put a text extension on the files that we save. So now we're finished with the settings. We're going to click up here and we're going to paste our clipboard. Remember, our clipboard had that key, right? There's the actual key, the public key. We're going to save this. I'm going to save it. I'm saving mine to my downloads. I'm going to call it Lin9155 .public, because that's what the router expects, a .pub extension on it. So we're going to save it as a .pub. So now the file's been saved. We're finished with this editor, so we can close out. So now we're going back to the router with our browser. We have to log in again. Now we're logged back into the router. And what we have to do, we have to upload this public key. So the way we do that, we go to Files, right here under Files. And we're going to choose a file. It takes you back to your folders on your tablet. Notice right here we have Lin9155 pub. So I'm going to click on that. And now it's loading it. You can see down here Lin9155 pub has been loaded. So now the file is on the router. Now we have to assign that file to a user. So we go back to our system users. Here's your 3 users. Remember, we're going to use tablet. So we're going to select SSH keys so we can assign the key to this user tablet. So we click on SSH keys, and we have to import a key into that user's account. So we got to go back to the user account name. Okay, so we've placed in the username tablet. I'm going to select the key, and it takes you back to the key list in the files. You notice right here is our thing that's installed on the router. So now we're going to go ahead and import that SSH key. So now you notice under keys here, under user keys, we have two users. Now tablet has this key, and add user has the other key. Notice over here, we list all the users that are on the tablet, and over here, active users, who's connected right now. My web browser is the only thing connected right now, so I just wanted you to understand that. Okay, so at this point in time, the router is actually ready to use SSH keys for access. So let's close out this browser. In this step, we're going to use ConnectBot, and we're going to tell ConnectBot to start using the keys. So we have to edit our host so to use the keys we've already created. So we hold the tablet, edit the host, and down here, use Pubkey authentication. We're going to say use this key, Lin90-155. And down here under SSH authorized agent, we have to enable that. And that basically takes care of it. Now the host can use keys to access the router that's ready to receive a key. So at this point in time, we go ahead and click on the host name and see what happens. Password for the key, remember it was pass. And now we're connected. So we now have a SSH key connection to the router. We can now access the router without using passwords, and that's important. And you'll see in other lessons why that's important. So at this point, we've completed our task. We can access the router with the browser. We can also access the router with this terminal using SSH keys. You'll find out in other videos that the webfig terminal is not worth using. So we're going to use this SSH key access to the router as our substitute terminal. So we'll use this terminal and webfig to make all your router configurations. And this is used the same in all the other videos, just you'll be using a tablet is the only difference.